The following is a paid program for Principal Preservation Services, LLC.
Here's what's coming up on Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
So if you want to do a QCD, a Qualified Charitable Distribution, the proper way to do that to avoid having to pay any taxes on that money, and why we like this so much, Mark, it meets your RMD demands. If you know those CDs, they're not liquid at all during that period, whether it's 6 months, a year, 18 months, 3 years. With it, you get a fixed annuity, you get to take 10% out per year for most of those with better returns.
At the end of 2025, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is going to expire as well. And so what does that do to your taxes? How is that going to impact the tax brackets as well? We want to talk about all that in the office because taxes are very important to minimize and maximize the dollars in your pocket.
We've seen some really good gains back into the gold market, but no different than the stock market, no difference in the real estate market. Risk is risk.
And now, the host of Retirement Reality Roadmap.
Hi, and welcome to this week's show.
We have 30 minutes of great information designed just for you.
Don't go anywhere. The show starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask the Advisor, where you, the Twin Cities, email your questions into us and we answer them right here on the show. Mike and Joe got some great questions this week. My first one, Mike, will be for you, and it's from Wendy in Hudson. And she writes, "We will be leaving a considerable amount of money to our heirs upon our passing. We want to make sure the savings and our estate pass to them with as little tax consequences as possible. Should we set up a trust?"
Great question, Wendy. And being that you're in Wisconsin, the good thing is there's no estate tax in the state of Wisconsin, which is great. I'm a big fan of having a trust. And when we talk about a trust, we're talking about a revocable living trust, not irrevocable. And that might be a fit for part of your portfolio if it's considerable. I think coming in and having a consultation, we can direct you to the right attorney based off that. But having a trust is going to make things pass without going through probate. So if you already have a will or maybe a transfer on death deed, your property is going to get that step up in value already. But having a trust is going to make things simple and fast. And it's going to keep it private as well. When you have a trust, everything's done privately, what you already put in a trust. It doesn't go through the court system. When it's probate, the barn doors are wide open. Everybody knows what you have and where it's going, and they can contest it. So I'm a big fan of having a trust. You put their house in their cabin, maybe your vehicles, maybe some of the bank accounts. But all your retirement accounts should have beneficiaries. And if your retirement accounts has beneficiaries on those, you won't have to worry about that. They'll get the step up in basis if it's a non-qualified account, or if it's an IRA. Unfortunately, they get your beneficiaries will have to pay taxes eventually on that. But it definitely warrants a meeting in our office.
Thanks, Mike. Joe, my next question is for you, and it's a long one, so stay with me here, all right? It is from Alex in Egan, and she writes, "I'm already retired and was married 10 years before divorcing. I heard somewhere that I'm entitled to collect my ex's Social Security, but does he have to be retired before I can collect his Social Security, higher than mine? But if he's not retired, can I collect mine and then change over to his when he retires? I'm so confused about this. Thanks for your help."
Alex, great question. And it can be a very confusing question. We do a lot of planning around Social Security in the office. For your answers, you do not, as a spousal, an ex-spousal benefit there, you would not need to wait until your ex-spouse was retired or started taking their own Social Security. So you can take that as early as 62. It would be a combination of your primary benefit and that spousal step-up benefit. Now, if you waited until age 67, you would get the full benefit. So by taking it early at age 62, you're going to have a reduced benefit in the end.
You know, I think there's a follow-up in here that is, if she does this, will he be contacted that this is happening, one? And two, is there any adverse effect to his Social Security if she does this?
Yeah, and great question. he will not be contacted. They take everything privately through the Social Security system, and it doesn't affect his Social Security at all. You are just entitled to make for Social Security between your own primary benefit and that spousal step-up. You are entitled to have at least 50% of what your ex-spouse would be making at their full retirement for their Social Security.
Thanks, Joe. Mike, my last question is for you, and it's from Robert in Stillwater. And Robert writes, I see gold and silver commercials all the time talking about hedging inflation. Who hasn't seen these commercials, right? Should I add gold and or silver to my portfolio?
Robert, thanks for writing in. We hear this question in our office all the time, and I'm not against if you want to buy precious metals, gold, silver. It's something we don't really help our clients with in the office. There's nothing wrong with diversification in today's market, but you have to ask yourself, am I going to hold gold and silver coins and you're safe personally, and then you have to find a buyer someday when you want to get rid of that? Are you going to hold paper gold, inside of a vault in some state that you've never seen or touched, or who's controlling it and who's doing the security of it? So again, diversification is great, but doesn't mean that gold and silver is not subject to risks and losses. So, and we see these 80 celebrities or Tom Selleck or, the guys from Heart to Heart talking about this is what we recommend doing. Well, they're paid actors as well. You have to understand that. And there is still risk to gold and silver. And just until recently, to this last year, there was really no gain in the gold market at all.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to point out, because the insinuation is that precious metals aren't volatile. Right. And is it fair to say that, hey, gold and silver can be quite volatile?
And it has been. Yeah, you just look up the history of what gold has done, and it made some money. Then there's a long dip in there until this last year. We've seen some really good gains back into the gold market, but no different than the stock market, no difference in the real estate market. Risk is risk.
Mike, Joe, thank you very much. If you want information on any of the topics we discussed here today, hey, give us a call in the office. We'd love to start a conversation with you, or you can go to our website. But more importantly, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen. Are you unleashing the possibilities of your assets in retirement? Hi, I'm Mike Koyanen of Principal Preservation Services, and we've been helping families with their retirement goals and dreams since 2014. We specialize in comprehensive wealth management strategies and retirement planning. Together, let's create a cohesive plan and maximize your assets in retirement. Call today or scan the QR code on the screen to set up your complimentary visit. Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become reality.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement Reality University. Mike, great topic today. A little bit confusing for some people, because a lot of folks out there, hey, they love their charities, right? And they want to do it the right way, and they don't want to create an inappropriate tax event with it. So we're going to talk about one of them right now, how qualified charitable distribution works. Some people may feel out of their IRA, and I want to make sure that I'm explaining this correctly, that they can just do it themselves. But really, the correct way to move money from your IRA to a charity is through the IRA administrator coming directly from there. Explain that.
Yeah, so some people like to give to charity. They've received the money already from an IRA distribution into your bank account. Then you write the check to the charity, and they think it's going to be a tax deduction, or it's going to be tax-free because it went directly from the IRA to the charity. That's not the case. So if you want to do a QCD, a qualified charitable distribution, the proper way to do that to avoid having to pay any taxes on that money, and why we like this so much, Mark, it meets your RMD demands. So if your RMDs are, just call it $25,000, if you want to give all of that money to charity, $25,000, you can, and it won't count as income. And the charity gets all that $25,000 as well. But the key is you have to have that check go directly from, just call it Charles Schwab, to maybe your local church, maybe to a different charity, or you could split it up through multiple charities. It doesn't have to go to one. And the nice thing is, this day and age, most people are not itemizing your taxes, in retirement, because your house is either paid off or close to, or you refinance at 2.5% a few years ago, and you're not even itemizing your tax. It doesn't make sense. So this is a proper way to do that, rather than take the money from your IRAs, pay taxes, and then give to charity. It doesn't make sense to do it that way.
Yeah, so let's talk about the dollar amount, because back in 24 it was 100,000. I believe in 25 it's 108. Is that correct?
108,000.
So let's talk about this for a minute here, that there's some people that are going to want to give more, and this is set up for them to do that.
Yeah, and you can double that. If you are married, it's actually 216,000. So 108,000 per individual. You can do a qualified charitable distribution as well. So that's a big number. Most people are not, their RMDs are not usually that big, but you can, that's one way to keep your taxable amount low in retirement. So what happens is, if you're not doing a QCD, you pay taxes and give it to charity, you might be in those upper tax brackets. So we look at Irma. Irma is not your great aunt from North Dakota, I say.
It's actually my mom's name.
It's your mom's name.
But it's with an I, not an E.
So Irma is the tax tables. The more money you make in retirement, the more money you pay for Medicare. So by doing the QCDs, it might keep you in that lower bracket, so you can actually pay normal Medicare prices instead of paying double or triple Medicare cost.
So let me ask you as well, let's say, there's multiple scenarios here. Maybe one spouse passes away, so now there's the estate plan piece that they're still involved with their charity. Of course, I'm really kind of coming back to, it's good to get with an advisor on this and an attorney on this as well. What are some of the other things that you've seen with people that are really into the philanthropical approach of, I've got all this money, I know that it's important to share a covenant with my community, right? And to give those dollars back. What other advice would you have for those folks that are, hey, we're all into being charitable, we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly?
Yeah, and it all depends if you have IRAs or non-qualified dollars as well. So we're talking strictly about IRAs here, the money you're forced to take out because you never paid a dime of taxes on here. Now we get maybe into these non-qualified dollars that you have that you're not required to take out withdrawals on a yearly basis. We also, under the current tax code, the best way to get that money to your kids today is the step up in basis when you pass. So you might have bought 3M stock at a low value, or Amazon or Apple very low, and it's gone up 250%. You don't want to take those dollars out and pay taxes on it, but when your children inherit that, it's good to understand under the current tax code, they're going to get that step up in basis when you pass away. It's the best way to pass on those dollars to your kids or grandkids.
So give me another trick of the trade here that we like to talk about when, we're talking about whether it's, I'm giving those dollars to my family, I'm giving it to my university, I'm giving it to my church. What other things do you recommend, people should know about?
Yeah, I think the tax exclusion every year, there's money you can give every year to your individuals, your kids, your grandkids. So I know what it was in 2024 is $19,000 you could give.
Is that the gift tax?
The gift tax?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if you have 4 kids, each of you, if you're married, can give that gift exclusion to each one of their children, so they can get $38,000 last year. I think it's going up to 20 this year. I haven't double checked yet, but you can give that that money tax-free, essentially, to your kids. They don't have to actually file anything when they do taxes. You don't get a deduction, but it's one way to start passing some inheritance back to your kids when they can use it today, rather than someday you're gone, they get that inheritance, and you never get to see how they get to use it.
And they just have to file a gift tax.
They don't have to file anything.
They don't have to file anything.
They don't need to file
there's no
anything.
taxable event for the parents in that scenario.
Or the children.
Or the children.
And they don't even have to be family members, so you can give it to friends, other family members as well, any random person if you want. It's not limited to your kids.
Mike, I love that. I always learn something new when we do the university segment here together. Hey, if you want to learn some great new information to help you and your family in your retirement, maybe you're pre-retirement right now and you're starting to put in those plans together, pick up the phone, give us a call in the office right now. We'd love to start a conversation with you. Or you can go to our website. But most importantly, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
From my experience, many retirees keep too much of their assets in the stock market after they retire. A well-diversified retirement portfolio should have assets in each of the 3 different retirement stages. The youth stage, putting money into savings. The adult stage, putting money into growth investments. And when you reach that mature stage, you should transition from growing and risking to more protection and guarantees. If you aren't sure about your risk, call now or scan the QR code to get your custom Retirement Reality Roadmap. There's no obligation and no cost if you have at least $250,000 saved for retirement. Here's what you'll get: a free report to sort through your current investment risks and fees, a tailored strategy to help protect your assets, a tax analysis to potentially reduce your tax liability, a custom income plan, and even a budget analysis if that's needed. Let us help you. Call now or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become reality.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Financial True or False. Gentlemen, I have some great questions for us today. Tate, I'm going to begin with you. And my first question is, you don't have to worry about taxes in retirement. True or false?
Yeah, it's funny, Mark, because that's going to be false.
That's a big false right there.
It is a big false, because that's probably one of the most high priority topics that clients come into our office about is taxes, and how do I minimize my taxes in my retirement accounts and maximize the dollars that I get in my pocket. So there's a lot of factors that go into that, including Social Security. Do you have a pension? RMD is at 73 or 75 for you. How much is that going to impact your taxes in retirement? And then at the end of 2025, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is going to expire as well. And so what does that do to your taxes? How is that going to impact the tax brackets as well? We want to talk about all that in the office, because taxes are very important to minimize and maximize the dollars in your pocket.
And Tate, would you say it's fair to say that this is really an area in retirement where you can grab the taxes bull by the horns? You can make necessary adjustments to get it as low as you can, and how important is that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can certainly get it as low as you can, whether it be Roth conversions, even taking your Social Security benefit at the optimal age and time for you can minimize a lot of taxes in retirement. So you can certainly grab the bull by the horns and minimize it as low as you can in retirement.
And you even move to Florida.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So one other piece, because I love the taxes piece so much, is that, I know you guys aren't CPAs, always get with your CPA, but I think a lot of, especially the DIY investors out there, they've done a great job, Mike and Tate, at accumulating, right? They've done a super job. But now we're at that point where I have to start taking my money out, and I have to factor in all these things, like healthcare, like taxes, like estate planning. So that is a piece of why you should be coming in and seeing you guys, correct?
Absolutely, and usually there's one.
And don't underestimate the power of tax reduction.
Exactly. Yeah. What we're seeing is there's a DIYers. Usually, the husband or one in the household is doing that. The other one is clueless of what is going on. So sometimes you get close to in retirement or just a few years in, the spouse is like, you know what? If something happens to you, Bob, I'm in trouble. We need to go somewhere where I have the confidence and the peace of mind to know that I can stay retired. I know what's going on. And it's nice you can have success, but I will say have a fun account. Have an account that you can play with, but not your whole retirement. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure you have a trusted advisor, that you have a plan in place.
Mike, my next question is for you, and it is, the stock market is the only place where you should have your money when you're in retirement. True or false?
That's a big false, sir, Mark. We love the market. We manage a lot of money in the market, but that's not the place you want to have all your eggs in one basket. As we get older and older and older, we want to make sure we're reducing our risk. And what has that been the last few years? Unfortunately, a lot of broker dealers have been pushing bonds. And what's happened to the bond market the last 3-4 years? Last time I looked, it's the U.S. aggregate bond index is still down 15+% in the last 4 years. There's safe investments like index annuities. They have no fees, no risk, good returns, better than bonds, better than bank CDs. So there's other places outside the market that you should be putting some of your money.
How often do you see when someone comes in, they are not truly divested, that they are in fact 100% in a volatile situation?
Usually 9 out of 10 times, Mark.
Wow.
Yeah. And when some people come in, they go, well, yeah, I have 40% in bonds. I said, well, how's the bonds been working out for you the last 3-4 years? Still down double digits. So bonds are not safe. They're interest rate sensitive, unlike the stock market, but they both have risk, and risk is risk in our opinion. If you need safety, you need to invest into safety.
And it kind of brings me back, and I'm going to bring up what I think now has become a colloquialism, and it's that 60-40, right? Yeah. That you've got 60% in the market, 40% in bonds. And for a long time, that may have been a prudent formula. Is that prudent today?
Not today.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to look from the 80s when interest rates were so high and you get a mortgage at 18, 22%, right? And it's been dropping and dropping and dropping for decades. So we're in a bull market in the bond market for a long time. That's ended. that has ended. It's going to take multiple years to recover. So you have to look at different options. And what we have done is that replacement of that bond percentage of your portfolio has shifted to the index annuity world, accumulation specifically, to get good returns.
Tate, my last question is for you, and it is, life insurance can only be used for death benefit, true or false?
Again, Mark, that's going to be
We
false.
had a whole bunch of falses
Yeah, a lot
today,
of
didn't we?
falses today, for sure. Well, traditionally, life insurance is thought to be just for death benefit, right? Typically, you get a life insurance policy, a term policy, when you start a family or buy a house and you have a mortgage, right? You want to cover that in case something were to happen to you. But we're finding a lot of transition here into investment vehicles within life insurance, specifically talking about index universal life, right? Something that can be a tax haven for a lot of retirees to get tax-free loans against this index universal life policy to get tax-free income in retirement. So it's not just about death benefits anymore. It's also about investments and how to get tax-free income from that.
And I've been doing some reading on more affluent investors out there incorporating life insurance, and it's really become an asset class of its own. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's a safe way to get some tax-free life insurance, but it's certainly an investment vehicle now rather than just a protection for yourself.
The article is about the Rockefellers. And they compared them to the Vanderbilts, and that these two very wealthy families way back when, one is still has a prevalent wealthy existence today, one does not, and the crux of the article was about the proper use of life insurance.
Absolutely.
Mike, Tate, thank you so much. If you have any questions about anything we talked about here today, hey, give us a call in the office. We'd love to start a conversation with you, or you can go to our website. But most importantly, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
And welcome back to Retirement Reality Radio with Mike Koyanen. Hey, I got a great topic today, Mike. I love this topic. In fact, we're calling it annuity basics. And I wish that I learned this in college, right? There was no financial training in college of all the great things that are out there, or nothing in high school out of bounds. Okay, that's maybe a topic for another day, of teaching our kids about all the tools that are out there so they can make decisions earlier in life. So today what we're going to do, because there's a lot of information about annuities, there's a lot of misinformation about annuities. So we're going to get in it right now in the three main areas that are out there. We got variable annuity, fixed indexed annuity, and what do we want to do? We want to start with the good news, or we want to start with the bad news, Mike?
Let's get it with
we're going to eat our veggies first here before we have dessert.
Okay,
all right,
let's do that.
So let's talk about the variable annuity. And we've talked about this in shows past where, hey, that's the one that has the notoriety in it right now. That's the one that's kind of the blemish for the other ones, because yes, they share the same annuity, but man, they couldn't function any differently. So let's start with the variable.
Yeah, and the variable annuities is something we do not offer our clients, but we do full reviews if you have one of those. So I don't want to condemn you if you have one, but if you do, pick up that phone and give us a call. We do a full review to help you understand what you have. Now, variable annuities, you just Google it, you're going to find nothing but bad press about it. Even Susie Orman video might pop up and tell you to stay away from them. Now, what a variable annuity is, some people think they're safe, but they're sold by broker dealers, and you're in mutual funds. So how can it be safe? That's why I ask clients, I said, when you get a mortgage, do you get a variable rate mortgage or a fixed rate mortgage? Everybody says fixed, because you don't want that volatility.
Yeah, and I want to make a distinction here. It's not safe because of who sold them to you. It's not safe because of what it's tied to.
It's tied to the stock market.
It is tied to the stock market. It is essentially an equities product, right?
It's equities.
Security.
Yeah. It's a securities product. It actually is mutual funds, but they also have some elements of riders attached to it. And so 95% of these variable annuities have an income rider, and a few of them have some death benefit riders as well, but you're paying for it. And what I don't like about these variable annuities, they're sold under the pretense you're paying very little for this, but you're paying a lot. And they're typically tied up to a 5, maybe a 7-year contract on average. The fees are typically 3 to 4% in fees. And most people don't understand they're paying that much in fees until we call the companies and I ask those questions.
For the people that are listening, I say the takeaway here is open the drawer, open the file cabinet, take a peek, because I think some people think, I have an annuity, but I'm really not sure. if I have a fixed index, if I have a variable, and you need to take a peek at that much sooner than later so that you know which one of these products you have. And once you know that, now you can take action. But
Right.
sometimes people don't want to know, right, Mike? It's in the file cabinet. I'm going to take a look at it. But if you do that, it is really time to grab the bull by the horns on this and take action.
And sometimes people have a variable annuity and they're sold under the pretense that they're safe and they can't lose. What is safe is a future income benefit you get, but your value in the market can lose a lot of value.
And that's very confusing.
It's very confusing.
Because you can state that product in such a manner to give the consumer a safe feeling. So let's move on. Let's go to the fixed indexed annuity, right? And let's go to the next one there, because that is really the popular one today. Is fair statement popular?
Yeah.
And I always say in the senior market right now, the new and wonderful products that are coming out are wonderful. And the toolbox that an independent financial advisor has, that truly has a holistic approach to retirement planning or does comprehensive wealth planning, certainly will investigate this tool, meaning the fixed indexed annuity, as part of your overall path to
Yes.
your retirement dreams and goals, right?
Yes, I agree. And the fixed index annuities are not offered by the same people who offer the variable annuities. Broker dealers do not offer the index annuities. So this is something we help our clients with as well. They've been around for over 30 years. Now, what we like about it is you're not in a mutual fund. It's not a security. It's not a stock or bond at all. It's tied to the market gains, but you're not in the market. So when we look at, maybe you open up an index annuity in July 1st of 2025, and let's just say the S&P is 5,500. Well, if it grows the next year, you make interest. If it drops the next year, there's no fees, and you took a zero. You didn't lose a dime with it. But on average, when we look at the history, I can't tell our clients how often it's going to do. We can only look at what history has done. On average, history has performed that the markets are positive 7 out of 10 years. So you should see gains, sometimes 7 out of 10 years, sometimes even 8 out of 10 years is when we've done back testing to find out what they've made from returns. But you should be 5, 6, 7% average returns on these without any losses, without any fees.
So we've got less than a minute to talk about the fixed annuity. So let's so we get all three definitions in here.
And that's like a CD replacement. You can go to the bank, get a CD today, and but you can get a fixed annuity and get a little bit better rate than what the banks are offering, with a little bit liquidity as well. Because if you know those CDs, they're not liquid at all during that period, whether it's 6 months, a year, 18 months, 3 years. With it, you get a fixed annuity, you can take 10% out per year for most of those with better returns. 100% safe, no risk.
Mike, thank you so much. And if you're listening right now and you're like, hey, I need to explore that a little further, pick up the phone right now. Let's start a conversation. Come on in and see Mike and the team here, and they'll get all of your questions answered and figure out what's going to be right for you, if anything. You're listening to Retirement Reality Radio with Mike Koinen.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
Thanks for watching this week's show.
And if you want more information regarding anything we spoke about here today, hey, give us a call in the office or go to our website.
Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become a reality.
The preceding program is sponsored by Principal Preservation Services, LLC.